the very bottom of our world lies a land few will ever see. A vast, frozen continent, almost completely covered in ice. A place where temperatures plunge far below zero, where the wind howls like an ancient warning, and where secrets, if they exist, have been entombed for millennia. This is Antarctica, the last frontier, the forbidden continent. For most of human history, Antarctica has been little more than a white void at the bottom of maps. A place of myth, a place of nothingness. But in the 20th and 21st centuries, this forgotten land has become the center of whispers, of anomalies, of truths that may be too big for the world to confront. Some say there's nothing there, just ice, snow, and stone. Others believe Antarctica hides the true history of Earth, a story carefully buried, sealed beneath miles of frozen silence. To understand Antarctica, we must begin with its paradox. It is the only continent on Earth, with no nation, no permanent population, no ownership. It is governed not by one power, but by many, under the Antarctic Treaty System. On the surface, this treaty was designed to preserve peace and scientific cooperation. But beneath the language of diplomacy lies something else. Antarctica is, by design, restricted. It is the one place on Earth where private citizens cannot simply go. You can't buy land here. You can't wander freely. Most of the continent is closed to the world, sealed off by international agreements and by nature itself. What is so important about a frozen wasteland that the entire world agreed to keep it off limits? Antarctica is massive, larger than Europe. Underneath its ice lies mountain ranges taller than the Alps, valleys deeper than the Grand Canyon, and rivers and lakes that have been sealed away for millions of years. It's a world beneath a world, and it's there, beneath the surface, where the whispers grow louder. In recent decades, advanced radar imaging has revealed unusual shapes below the ice. Perfectly straight lines, geometric formations, cavernous voids stretching for miles. Officially, many of these are described as natural geological formations. But some patterns are so precise, so symmetrical, they raise unsettling questions. One of the most talked about locations lies beneath Wilkes Land. There, deep under the ice, lies a circular structure nearly 300 miles wide. Some scientists have speculated it may be an ancient impact crater. Others, less conventional voices, suggest it may be something artificial, something built, whether natural or not. The formation is unlike anything else on Earth, and the area around it is heavily monitored, tightly restricted, and rarely spoken about. The deeper we dig, the more the past begins to stir, because Antarctica wasn't always frozen. Millions of years ago, it was lush, a temperate land with rivers, forests, and even animal life. But some believe the real story goes further than science is willing to admit. Throughout history, ancient maps have puzzled historians. Among them, the Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513. It appears to depict Antarctica's coastline free of ice, centuries before modern exploration, centuries before satellites. How could a 16th century map maker have drawn the outline of a continent no one had supposedly seen? Mainstream historians say this may have been coincidence, a misinterpretation, but others see it as a clue that ancient civilizations, far older than what we're taught, may have once known Antarctica intimately, that they may have walked its coasts, mapped its terrain, and perhaps built there. Stories of lost civilizations are as old as history itself. From Atlantis to Sumer, humanity has always whispered of forgotten knowledge, of cities swallowed by time. What if one of those civilizations wasn't lost beneath the sea, but beneath the ice? Some theorists suggest Antarctica could have been home to an advanced society long before the ice arrived, a people who understood the stars, mathematics, and the earth in ways we still struggle to comprehend. A civilization erased not by war, but by a planetary shift, a sudden freeze that buried their world beneath miles of snow. Of course, such claims remain on the fringe. But what fuels their persistence are not just myths, but anomalies, physical ones. Strange magnetic readings, unexplained heat signatures, satellite images that appear and then vanish. Official denials, followed by silence. In the mid-20th century, something curious began to happen. Expeditions from major world powers started arriving in Antarctica with unprecedented urgency. Among the most famous was Operation Highjump, a U.S. Navy mission in 1946 involving over 4,000 men, ships, and aircraft. Officially, it was a training exercise. Unofficially, it became a fertile ground for speculation. Some believe Operation Highjump was about more than training, that it was a search for something hidden in the ice. Declassified documents are scarce, but the scale of the operation remains unmatched. And when it abruptly ended months early, the speculation only deepened. Since then, Antarctica has drawn the attention of world leaders, scientists, and secret programs. In recent years, unexplained high-level visits have raised eyebrows. Religious figures, political leaders, tech billionaires. Why do the world's most powerful people keep flying to one of the most inaccessible places on Earth? Their reasons are never fully explained, but their timing often aligns with strange satellite data, sudden blackouts of public imagery, and intensified security measures in certain sectors of the continent. It's here, in these shadows, that Antarctica shifts from science into something stranger. Across the internet and within classified circles, whispers speak of forbidden zones, regions under constant surveillance, guarded and inaccessible even to most researchers. Places where something is said to be buried, something not meant to be disturbed. In 2016, several independent satellite watchers claimed to have captured what appeared to be a structure emerging from the snow. Sharp angles, massive scale. Days later, the images disappeared from public access. Official explanations dismissed the claims as image artifacts or errors. But once again, the silence was louder than the denial. The mystery of Antarctica isn't just about what's beneath the ice. It's about why we are not allowed to know, why ordinary people can't go there freely, why independent investigation is so difficult, why even high-resolution satellite coverage is often blurred, cropped, or missing altogether. This is not how most of the world works. Even in the most remote deserts, jungles, or mountains, exploration is possible. But in Antarctica, it's different. The official explanation is safety, environmental protection, and international cooperation. And yes, Antarctica is dangerous. But beneath those reasons, some see something else. Control. Control of access, control of information, control of a narrative. But if there truly is something buried beneath that ice, what could it be? Some scientists point to the possibility of ancient microorganisms or alien life. Subglacial lakes like Lake Vostok have been sealed off for millions of years, possibly harboring life forms, unlike anything on the surface. If such life exists, it would be one of the greatest discoveries in history. Others look at the continent's geology, its hidden mountain ranges, its warmth beneath the ice, and wonder if entire lost landscapes might still lie preserved, like a time capsule of Earth's distant past. And then there are those who believe the answer isn't biological or geological at all, that what lies below Antarctica is something built, something old, something waiting. These ideas may sound like science fiction, and perhaps some of them are. But what's undeniable is that something is happening beneath the surface. The ice is melting. Satellite imagery reveals more land each year. Seismic sensors detect strange patterns. And as climate change accelerates, Antarctica's secrets are becoming harder to hide. Glaciers the size of countries are calving. New landscapes are emerging. subglacial formations once buried deep are now within reach. For scientists, this is an unprecedented opportunity. For those who believe in hidden truths, it is confirmation of everything they've suspected. 2025 stands at a threshold. As the world warms, Antarctica's ancient silence is breaking. What has been frozen for eons is stirring. And with each inch of ice that melts, the past comes closer to the surface. When that moment comes, the world may discover that the history we've been taught is only part of the story. That somewhere beneath the ice lies a chapter of Earth's past, long erased from memory. A chapter that holds the key to who we are, and perhaps where we are going. Antarctica, the forbidden continent, the keeper of secrets, the mirror of time.